And we're back. Week 25 of Behind the Lens. I'm Debbie Lynn Elias, moviesharkdeblore.com. Find me anywhere around the world, print, online, or right here on Behind the Lens every Monday from 11 to 12. And joining me today, again, I'm so thrilled, my friend, the movie Kit herself. Kit Bowen is here. Hello.
Hello. Thank you for having me again.
Oh, I love having you. It's so fun.
It is fun.
But, Greg is off. For those of you wondering, Greg is off being a dutiful son with his dad today.
Oh, his dad.
So, yes. Well, because Mom was doing things, so Greg is home with Dad today.
Another after Father's Day.
An after Father's Day event.
Yeah.
So, the girls are here today. We've got Jordan and Brian hanging out in the back. Yes, while we're listening to, empty cans on my ears. But we have a very fun show today. I think it's very fun.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
At 11:15, my pal, director extraordinaire David Spaltro is calling in from New York, where he's going to talk about a film that I executive produced that he directed, The CAT'S CRADLE, which is currently on its festival tour around the United States. And then he has a new film, a horror film, feature film, that the trailer and the poster just debuted last week.
Ooh.
So we're going to let David talk all about that. And then, so excited, 11:30. This is my, we kick off the summer fun or summer of fun, however you want to call it, with future filmmakers. And I'm talking the future filmmakers who appeared at LA Film Festival. These kids, you heard me talk about it last week. These kids are bright, they're smart, they're creative, they're talented. And Kit now has seen one of the films, and we both agree that no, what these kids are turning out is better than 1/3 of what has distribution deals in theaters right now.
It's very encouraging.
Isn't it?
For the future of filmmaking in general, that these kids, and I think, we'll talk about it with Theo and Emily, but, they must, the technology that they have at their fingertips now make it so much easier and more exciting,
yeah.
I think.
But what's so key, and you'll see in the other shorts that I send to you, is that they're using practical effects. They're not relying on the technology. Right. They are using practical effects to achieve some incredible visual results and storytelling results.
Yeah, they're having to rely on storytelling, which is what is key.
Oh, and it is something we don't see enough of. So when we see it, we are so incredibly happy.
Yes.
So, yes, we will have Theo Buckwald and Emily Kramer at 11:30 talking about their short film, Old Tricks.
It's great.
It is. I mean, it is. It's fabulous. And then we've got some wonderful exclusives that I did with Jim Murphy, the writer and director of Lava. I lava. I think you do too.
Yes. Lava's a short film that plays before Inside Out. And it is just heartwarming. And well, I mean, I think the whole audience that I watch it with, we just kind of all collectively said, "Aw."
Well, and our lovely sound engineer, Mr. Brian back there today, he saw Lava and Inside Out.
Yeah.
And I think it brought a tear to his eye.
Not a tear, tears.
Oh, many tears.
Many tears. Well, Inside Out as well. I mean, I'm actually surprised that Inside Out didn't win the box office this past weekend, but 91 million or however.
But in many respects, it is a win. Many people are hung up on the fact that this is the first Pixar film that wasn't the number one of the box office. It was the number one new film at the box office. Yes. And 91 million is nothing to sneeze at. My Disney stock thanks you immensely, American public. But Jurassic World.
Dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs.
World. This is a very interesting activity book that people that can see the video online will be able to see it. So,
That's right.
yeah.
And, we're also about literacy, and
Yes.
you need to read in order to read scripts. So, and
Yes.
it is summer. So on
It's summer.
vacation, there are all these great things out there for kids that are movie tie-ins.
Yeah. And I think that's great.
And they're great for adults, too. I mean, one of the big things right now, they're promoting coloring books for adults. Well, we have our little coloring book and activity books right here.
We don't have any crayons, though, Debbie.
I forgot the crayons. I'm so sorry.
Or pens.
Well, here, I have a pen here.
Okay, I'm going to start.
Okay.
doing this up.
Kit we like to keep ourselves entertained, We have visual aids not just for you, but as play toys for us.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
but another film that's out there right now that is every week it's increasing. The number of theaters is Love and Mercy,
Yeah.
which is absolutely phenomenal. It is an amazing story, Brian Wilson's story, written by Oren Moverman, directed by Bill Pohlad, John Cusack. I really think he and Paul Dano, they both turn in Oscar-worthy performances.
Absolutely. I mean, we got a chance to talk about this last time I was on.
Yeah.
It was it's a spectacular movie. I mean, it really does. And like we said, it gives you that sort of insight into how Brian Wilson's brain worked and creating some of the better sounds of the Beach Boys. And it was just I mean, if you're a Beach Boys fan, it's unbelievable.
Yeah. And even if you're not a Beach Boys fan, it will make you a Beach Boys fan.
Yes, for sure.
It's for anybody that
An appreciation for them, yes.
yeah. I mean anybody of my generation, because you're a few years behind me, but
Just a few.
more than a few. But the Beach Boys were such an integral part of their sound of my life.
Yep.
And that they were the sounds of summer.
Yeah. Yep.
When you think summer, you think Beach Boys, and to see
And California.
yeah, and to see the machinations behind that through this film.
Yeah.
But I think everyone has agreed. Paul Giamatti, he will get a Best Supporting Oscar nod for this performance as Dr. Eugene Landy.
Yeah, I think he might. He could very well might. And I mean, again, it's problematic because it's coming out now, but things do tend to last, especially when they come out in the summer.
And we're finding that more and more in recent years. Best Exotic Marigold Hotel, that came, it was a January release initially, and there were Oscar nominations rolling around
Yep.
at the end of the year.
Yeah.
So we're seeing it more and more. American moviegoers are getting savvier. AMPAS voters are getting savvier,
Yep.
and they're realizing that good things do last.
Well, they'll probably market it a little bit towards the end of the year, for the award season. I bet it'll come out on DVD, and
Yeah.
so they'll be pushing it out a little bit again, I think, and they should.
They should. And when it comes to Giamatti and Eugene Landy,
tell them what Eugene Landy
Landy was a psychologist licensed in the state of California who ultimately became unlicensed. Landy came in. He was hired to initially treat Brian Wilson, who went through periods of severe depression that kept him housebound. He did not go out, gained an excessive amount of weight. But Landy overstepped the patient-doctor bounds.
Yep.
And got more than greedy and inserted himself into all of Brian's finances, into his deals, into every aspect of his life, to the point that it was causing more harm than good. And it was thanks to Melinda Ledbetter, who Brian ultimately married and I think has five kids with now. Melinda is the one that went to the rest of the Wilson family and said, you guys, this is what's happening. You've got to do something. And that got the ball rolling to get Landy removed from Brian's life and very vitriolic in the court system. I remember when it...
Do you?
Oh, yeah. I remember when it went down. There's still some case law on point that came out of a lot of those hearings. Landy lost his licensing, but Brian Wilson got his life back.
Yeah.
But in order to create this incredible character, and it's always more difficult when you're performing embodying someone who was a real person.
Right.
Is, how do you get the tone right? And I had a chance to talk to Oren Moverman about that. And this is a clip we didn't get to play last time you were here.
Right.
Because just before they were starting to shoot, Oren came into possession of hours and hours of audio tapes of Eugene Landy.
Ooh.
And here's what Oren Moverman had to say about this.
But what I did, I was very lucky. There's a book called The Nearest Faraway Place that was written, I can't remember his name, which is terrible. It's a Rolling Stone writer who died at the age of 50 of a heart attack. Beautiful guy, beautiful writer. And he was interviewing people in the Brian Wilson world over the years. And I heard, somebody told me that he has tapes of Landy. So I think through Rolling Stone, I have a buddy who's the editor of Rolling Stone. I got in touch with his widow, and I said, "This is really weird, and obviously, it's such a tragedy, but you have those tapes." And she said, "I got to go into his study and look, because I can't really bring myself to go into his study because he died so suddenly, and she's still kind of grieving in many ways." But then I got a call from her, and she said, "I have it. I have the tapes. Dr. Landy being interviewed, hours of tapes of Dr. Landy being interviewed by my husband." And I said, nobody has this. Nobody's heard him talk for hours. It must be a great, research tool, but obviously I can't ask you to part with it, but if you were so kind to let me listen to it, I promise I won't do a disservice to it, but I really want to hear his voice. I really want to hear him talk. And then I heard the tape. She sent it to me. She made her son made a digital, basically DVDs, CDs. And I played them, and Landy was saying, "I went into the grave, and I pulled him out," like all the stuff that's in the movie.
Wow.
And I went to Bill and I said, the stuff that I wrote about, I have better lines. And we were really close to shooting, so he's sort of like, wow. Then I said it to Paul Giamatti. And then on set, we were actually changing the lines as we went. We were sort of like, this is actually what he said. He was so out of his mind that he was actually saying these things. You got to say them.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, I'm sure Landy, I'm only assuming he probably had the best intentions when he first started, but somehow, that kind of power he had.
Yeah, it went above and beyond
rationale.
Yeah, it just truly tragic. But for Oren as a screenwriter, as a filmmaker, to have this essentially fall into his lap at the 11th hour.
That's amazing.
And for Paul Giamatti to then go and listen to all of this and embrace that.
Yeah. And
because Oren and I talked for about an hour about this, and we had talked to Dave because we are friends. So, and it was to hear some of the horror stories of things that were contained in those tapes. It's
poor Brian.
Yeah, it's how anybody could endure that and come out whole.
It's pretty rough to watch on in the movie too. There's a couple of scenes where it's tough. It's tough to watch, and you're getting it mostly from the perspective of Melinda, but still.
But then you see John Cusack embody the trauma that has been inflicted, and your heart does stop.
Yeah.
You find yourself clenching your fist, wanting to, reach in and just either choke Eugene Landy or pull John out as Brian out of the screen.
For sure. But at least there's a happy ending.
There's a really happy ending. And Brian just played at the Greek this weekend.
Did he?
Yeah, he just had a live performance this weekend. So that's very, very exciting and very good. And he has a new album. So everybody go buy it.
I guess what's probably the most amazing that he has his genius has stayed, maintained. He'd never really lost it.
No.
Which is pretty amazing considering all the stuff he has gone through in his life. So
yeah.
Wow.
Well, and speaking of genius, we have another cinematic genius who's joining us now. Hello, my darling David Spaltro.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm doing really, really well. It's so nice to talk to you on your show.
I am so thrilled to have you. My friend and colleague and partner in crime today, Kit Bowen, is here as well.
Hello, how are you?
Hey, how's it going?
Good.
And everybody needs to know that David, being the true friend that he is, I reached out to him in a panic this morning after a publicist and her clients canceled and said, I have to completely redo my show today, and I don't think I have enough content. I do, but I didn't have enough time to put it together. And you very graciously said, I'm in, I'll call.
Well, hey, you can summon me anytime you need me, so I'm happy to be here.
Well, and that's one of the reasons I love you. But big things are happening. First, let's talk about the Cat's Cradle and this wonderful festival tour, because you were there and I wasn't.
Yeah. Well, Cat's Cradle is this really great short film that I had the pleasure of shooting last. God, it's been a year already. We shot it in June, and you were a great part of that. And Debbie was our lovely executive producer on this film. And it was really fun. I got to work with an actress that I knew very well, Tawny Sorensen, who I hadn't worked with before. Tawny had written the original piece as a one-act play about a couple trying to conceive and some secrets that happened one night on their one of the nights they have to conceive a child. It was a great piece. I thought it would make a really good short film. It was a great collaboration. I got to bring a lot of people that I like to work with. And it really, honestly, especially after this last year of working on something else, it was probably the easiest, most fun thing I ever had the pleasure to do. It was a real joy. We premiered in October of 2014 the Twin Cities Film Fest, and we played, I wish I could tell you the number right now, but a bunch of festivals, and we have a couple more coming up. But we recently won our first Best Picture in New Jersey last weekend. So
Congratulations.
It's been a great couple of weeks.
Yes. Well, I think we've done 8 or 9 festivals already.
I know Tawny recently posted the number of festivals we played and festivals that are still waiting, and it was like, I was like, wow, it was kind of impressive and kind of fun.
Well, I just want everybody, watch your festival schedules. Follow David on Facebook, follow me, and, follow the film, The Cat's Cradle, and find out where the festivals are, because it is so worth seeing. It really showcases Tawny. It also showcases you as a dramatic director.
Yeah, I humbly will step aside and just say that the performance. It's two people pretty much going, and it's a huge tonal shift in this film. So I won't say anything no spoilers. But the piece is so well written by Tawny, but also her performance opposite Nabil Vinyas, who's the male lead I've worked with a couple of times. It's a powerhouse. It really, I've watched it a few times now with an audience a couple of times, and to see people sort of really it starts out very funny, and then they just kind of melt into the story and the characters, and then you go for the ride, as if you're in a very uncomfortable room with these people and what happens. So it's pretty great.
Now, my little cohort is sitting here and she's grinning. Is there any way we can get her a link to see The Cat's Cradle?
Oh my gosh, yes, absolutely.
Okay,
I will happily send that off.
Oh, great.
Kit likes seeing these little projects and things.
I do, absolutely.
Because she's also now managing editor of
Screenpix.com. So
very cool.
So, somebody else that, we're going to hit up for this other baby of yours that, I'm sorry, it is the finest work you've ever done. Number one, the fact you survived it. Let's be gracious and kind. Talk about this new film that the trailer just dropped, the poster just dropped. The stage is yours, my friend.
In the Dark was a horror film. I did not expect, if you told me about a year and a half ago that I'd be making a horror film, I would have said you're crazy. And I had nothing against the genre. I actually, in preparing to make it and making it, I actually kind of refound my love for scary films and what you can actually really do with the genre. As an artist, you're always trying to find ways to tell stories in different, unique ways, and especially in the art versus commerce of what is marketable, and trying to make something commercial without completely being redundant or out. Horror is really great because you can, it's always been used as either a way to tell stuff that you either weren't allowed to talk about, whether it's race or, sexuality, as kind of a metaphor. And so I just really love, found the love for it. And it's just really cool. Got to do things with a filmmaker I'd never done before. But, we were working at a very low budget, and you make Faustian bargains when you take on other people's projects. Because, again, I wasn't planning to do a horror film. Somebody came along and kind of offered me a deal that, they wanted to make a horror film. They didn't have a script. So it was like it's half a test for me to see if I could work with somebody else, half a test to see, if I could work in that wheelhouse and kind of open myself up commercially to show that I could do other things outside of the films I've done before that are more dramatic and kind of normal, no supernatural, no sort of thriller aspects, and play in a genre arena.
Can you give us a little a little log line to the in the dark?
Yeah. It's a world-renowned paranormal kind of research person who works at Columbia University, who has a sort of rough history with demonic possession and hauntings. And she's a true believer, but she also weeds out a lot of non-real cases. Sort of teaming up with the Scully, if you will, a younger grad student who's interviewing her on a particular case involving a girl in a haunted house and her mother that turns out to be a lot worse and a lot more serious than either one of them thought of. So it's a little haunted house, it's a little demonic infestation, it's a little thriller, it's a little mystery. And inside of it, what I really tried to do is, it's 4 female leads, which is important to me because I feel like, there's a real push right now for female filmmakers and female stories, and it's a great blank canvas that hasn't been explored yet. So I always like doing that. And the 4 female leads, I got Grace Folsom, who was in my last film, a terrific actress, and then Justinger and Catherine Cobb Ryan, and then your favorite Fiona Horrigan.
I love Fiona.
Yeah, what I really tried to do with this film is to tell a dramatic story about people and their own personal demons, and kind of mix that in with some real demons, and hopefully find a good balance in between a good story and some really good fun and thrills. And it seems the people who've released the trailer and the poster, and a few people have seen it, and it's getting really good feedback. So that hopefully we'll be premiering it in the fall somewhere. As soon as I know, you'll know.
Yeah, well, I know I'll know.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, demon possessions are always the scariest to me.
Oh, it's
the 3 o'clock in the morning witching hour thing. I see the paranormal activities or the whatever it is, and actually the exorcism of Emily Rose is where it really started manifesting in my brain. And you wake up, you wake up in the middle of the night, right? And you go, I'm not going to look at the clock because if it says 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm going to be freaking out right now. So I'm just not going to look. I don't smell anything burning. I think I'm okay.
Well, I can honestly say, having seen the film in its entirety and having seen little things along David's journey with this film, it is the absolute best thing he's done. The titles are amazing.
Oh,
they are visually gorgeous, and they throw you off balance for what is to come. So it's a beautiful dichotomy of what you see and then what happens.
Oh, I like that.
But the effects are fantastic. But again, Grace Folsom is a powerhouse actress. She really is.
Yeah, I mean, again, even when you're doing this kind of film at the budget we were doing it at, your performances and your story, your script are kind of, no matter, even if you have special effects, they're your real special effects. But again, part of succeeding is, as a director and filmmaker, is you got to have a strong vision, but also the people that you bring. And on this project, particularly the people that I was able to bring that I've worked with before, just even new people that are just solid professionals. But the titles you're talking about and the special effects were done by Tony Hudson, who's got 30 years of experience. He's worked for Lucasfilms. Anybody's looking for good visual effects, he's based in California. He's at FXVet.net. And our score was done by a great composer, Fritz Myers, who's done a bunch of films. They just, more than any other film I've done, that kind of stuff in post-production was really important to finishing the film. It makes it a whole different thing, which is really great to play with.
And of course, your color correction on this one, the color is outstanding. Yes. And especially with your cinematography, in the dark is a huge part of this, and you really play up to the negative space.
Yeah, that's Gus Sachs, who I worked with on 2 films. This is our 3rd collaboration.
Yeah, Gus
actually.
is
He
fabulous.
I understand. He did the Cat's Cradle, and he's just great. He's not scared of dark either. A lot of people, because you don't know what you're doing and you end up with like a blank screen or way too much shadow, but he'll dive into it and really just make something moody. So.
Ooh, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, see, we've already convinced Kit. She needs to see it. She's on board.
For sure.
We'll get you a screen or two.
Now we just have to get the rest of the world, get a distributor in here, and and make this thing happen.
Absolutely, yeah. It's getting early buzz is promising, so we'll see how it goes. But it's been a very long, as you know many secrets. It's been a very long year, and I'm really happy that it's kind of finished and can go out in the world now, because it's a really great piece with a lot of really solid work from a lot of great people too. So that I'm very proud of.
And I think it's safe to say that the making of In the Dark could be a film all its own.
Well, that's the real horror movie, actually. Yeah, the documentary that we didn't get a chance to make. That's the Apocalypse Now.
Yeah, there you go. I was going to say
down the river.
You and Coppola can commiserate there.
Oh. Well, David, thank you so much for calling this morning.
Oh, thank you for having me.
Oh,
it's nice to meet you.
You always have an open invitation, and I love the fact that I can call this man in a panic and say, "Help me, help!" Just like I say to Kit, Greg's not going to be here. You want to come on the show? Sure. Yeah. That's why I love my people that I hold close, and you know what you mean to me.
Well, I'm a press whore, but anything for Debbie Deb.
Well, thank you, my darling, and I will talk to you soon.
You too. Be
and
well,
and tell the girls they will be hearing from me.
Excellent. All right, guys, have a great rest of the
You
day.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
And that was the fabulous director and writer David Spaltro. I am so proud of him, and I am so proud of this film.
Horrors can be tough, I think, to do. I mean, do
and
well anyway.
It's a stunner.
Yeah.
It's a stunner. Well, I think because I know we're coming up on a battery change. Well, no, we're going to take a moment for battery change and before Emily and Theo call in. So we'll take a short break and we'll be right back to Behind the Lens. Behind the Lens is sponsored in part by the Culver City Observer. Located in the heart of Screenland, Culver City Observer is available in print and online at www.culvercityobserver.com. And welcome back to Behind the Lens. I'm Debbie and Elias. I'm here with my cinematic cohort today, Kit Bowen.
Hello.
We just heard from writer-director David Spaltro about The Cat's Cradle, currently on the fest circuit, and In the Dark, which...
sounds creepy.
Looking for a distributor. Are you listening, Jason?
Hello.
Are you listening, Jason? But right now, I am so thrilled because joining us now are two of my favorite future filmmakers, Emily Kramer and Theo Buckwald. Hi, guys.
Hi.
I've been waiting for you guys to be on today.
She's very excited.
That Kit is here with me. I'd emailed you, and Kit has seen old tricks as well.
Oh, really?
That's awesome.
Well done. I loved it.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
It's so cute.
See, hear that enthusiasm? This is what filmmaking is all about.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Have you guys come down off of your high of having old tricks in LA Film Festival?
Wait, I'm sorry. Could you say that one more time? We're kind of cutting out.
Have you guys come down off your high yet of LA Film Festival and having the film premiere debut there?
We're always high.
Like we are we are so beyond thrilled about that still. It is not worn off at all. We still talk about it every day. It was the most incredible experience.
Well,
it was just awesome having it shown just to a nice amount of people at once on this big screen. It's just something I fantasized as a kid, and I couldn't believe that was actually happening.
So what is it that makes the two of you want to make movies? What is the magic of movies for the two of you? Because you don't just get up one day and say, I'm going to make a movie, and make a film that is as wonderful, as great a story, as visually appealing as Old Tricks is.
You know, I think it's the ability, the one thing that really gets, it's just the ability to show something to such a big amount of people. I think that's really what I love, being able to be an influencer and to being able to give something that someone can talk about and just be influenced by and motivated by or scared of. Just, yeah, I love communicating to people, and I think communicating through film is just like the greatest thing.
And what about for you, Emily?
For me, I've loved film for as long as I can remember. It's like something I've been passionate about since I was a really little kid. And for me, I think that a film just has the ability to touch and connect with people, and really, it's almost therapeutic. Like watching a good film, it could either be an escape from something or it can relate to you in a way. And the way that it's this medium that combines all these arts, like the visual art, like through the cinematography and the music and the colors and all of that, like the acting, I think that it's the most beautiful medium to touch people through, and really it's capturing humanity. It's capturing, you know, emotions and life in a way that I feel no other medium can do the same.
Do you guys remember the first movie that sort of touched you like that?
The what?
First movie that you saw that really kind of affected you?
You know, that's a tough question. Theo, you go.
I know that one.
Oh, good.
I saw, when I was a little kid, I saw Jaws with my parents in a revival movie theater, and just like
that's my favorite movie.
For just like you don't even see the shark at all throughout the movie, really, but like the fact that shark was just so terrifying, and like someone was able to do that to you, just like that, just instantly was just like, wow, like I'm so into this, like I'm so into movies, and I just started watching so many movies after that.
Well, now that
Theo.
you know, they're running the 40th anniversary showings of Jaws now. It's going to be down at the Egyptian in a 35 millimeter print this week. Have you seen it again on the big screen?
I actually took my dad yesterday for Father's Day. We went to go, because that's like, that was a huge thing we used to do when we were little kids, to see like revival movies. So I took him yesterday to AMC, and it was just like I felt like I was a 5-year-old again.
Oh, okay. Well, now Theo bought you all kinds of time, Em. So, what film affected you initially?
It's so hard to pinpoint, you know, an exact film. Like I can't do it the way that he did, but I remember as a kid, I was obsessed with all the Audrey Hepburn films, like Breakfast at Tiffany, Roman Holidays, Sabrina, all those. I was like, the beauty of the filmmaking from that time, and like just like the glamour of things like Sunset Boulevard and you know, An American in Paris. I loved all of those, and that's what really got me into like really, really wanting to work on film.
How old are you, Emily?
I'm 18.
Oh my gosh! If I could only just hear that out of out of my children's mouths. Because my mom, I grew up watching older movies too. My mom would say, "Hey, stay up and watch this movie with me." You know, Duel in the Sun or Bad Seed or Audrey Hepburn.
Wait, we're cutting out right now. Can you say that one more time? I
was just saying, when I was growing up, my mom also would watch these older movies with me. She'd say, "Hey, watch this movie with me," and I would say, "Yeah, absolutely." And they're all the older movies. And Philadelphia Story, I loved.
They're the greatest. They're seriously the greatest. My mom and I would always watch them together growing up, and same with me and my grandpa. And there's such an elegance to them.
So, are you a big TCM fan, Em?
A big what?
TCM, Turner Classic Movies.
I love it. I love them. My grandpa had this huge box in his house growing up with just all the old DVDs from that, and it's.
Oh. So now, can we expect to see you at the TCM Film Festival next year?
I would love to.
I could need an intern next year when I cover it. One never knows.
That I would be extremely interested. Sign me up.
So tell us about how you came up with Old Tricks. I mean, it's a fabulous short story. We've got a teenage burglar, an old
Gutsy
man,
teenage burglar, by the way.
gutsy, but a very well mannered one too, I have to say. And
well, it was around September of 2014. Yeah, 2014, and I wanted to put together a film for college applications. I really was like, stressing, and like everyone's like, writing essays and getting their SATs, and I was putting more of my focus in putting together a short film for the film schools. And I really wanted to make a film, like a little short, that wasn't too complex, that, because like I feel like a lot of filmmakers at the time were trying to put together these grand films with huge special effects and, like 20-minute long things, and I was just like, I just want to put together something 5 minutes that just focused on story. And through that, I started kind of, I took that element of just making it simple, and that's how I kind of came up with the story. And I think the whole story of it really kind of resembles that whole just things are not what they seem, because I felt like with college applications for applying to the film schools, everyone's going to be turning in these things that have like $10,000 budgets or, all these great editing effects, and I'm going to have this like little 5-minute short film. So I think that kind of just affected the whole, like the way the story is, like things are just not what they seem. It's your tortoise and the hare story. And I think like, so every little element of the film has that sort of, that theme within it. And that's just really how I conceived it. And when I got the idea of just an old magician, it just kind of started making sense. Like, oh, well, he was once a famous magician, and he can do card tricks, and he can do these little ball tricks, and he can do all these other things. And it kind of just came from that.
well, and one of the things I told you at the festival was the simplicity of your story, the unfettered visuals, the clean lines, the clear, clean, crisp lighting. Your vision is very clear. Your storytelling is clear. But it is that simplicity that adds, as Emily would say, that line of elegance.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think simplicity is the most complex thing sometimes, and I think it looks very clean because I tried to oversee, as the director, I tried to oversee every little element from, I wrote the script, and when we were making the posters to put on the walls, I was trying to like make sure that, they were what I wanted to see, and then when we were editing it, I was always, looking over the shoulder of our editor and just making sure that everything was in the same uniform theme and style, and it was everything, every little like theme was being communicated through every medium, through the sounds, through the visuals, and so on and so forth.
Did you ever get tired wearing all those different hats, Theo?
I never get tired wearing all those hats. I put them on. Sometimes I sit alone and put them on, and just to feel the rush.
And Emmy's like, take them off.
No, she's like, keep them on.
So now, Joe Spano, that was a big thrill for me to see Joe Spano, veteran character actor. Everybody, you see him, and everybody knows who he is. They might not know his name, but they know him. Tell everyone how Joe Spano came to you, because I think this is a charming part of the story.
Well, Joe is a friend, actually. One of his daughters was in the same theater program that I attended while I was at high school, and we did several shows together, and we became very close, and I just found out that her dad was a very famous actor, and I started taking interest in his work and started really it's very nice when you just know a celebrity, so it was a lot of fun. And when I was putting together the film and I wanted an old man, I was kind of stuck. I was like, I can either just get a friend of mine to play an old man, but that wouldn't look good. I need an authentic old man. I really need an actor who just knows what they're doing, that can just pull it off. And I was like, you know what, I'm just going to go on a limb. He's probably going to say no. I'm going to send an email and just hope for the best. I'm going to send him what I have so far of my script, and just like, I might as well just try. And sure enough, like almost instantly, like a couple hours later, I get an email saying, looks great, would love to talk more about it. And we met up again and we talked about it, and just from the beginning I knew like he was obviously the perfect choice.
Well, and that's one thing that I love, is that Joe thought so much of it. He got back to you in a few hours. Some people, they'll wait weeks, they'll wait months to hear something.
Yeah.
But that's also, I think, the difference between a good script and a veteran performer who knows, when he sees something that's worth doing. And
Totally. And on that topic, I mean, Joe was nothing but nice, supportive, and professional on set. I mean, obviously he was there on time, and he never broke his character on set, and he was just always supportive and always willing to do whatever he needed to do to make sure that the film was made and that his role was perfected. And he really, he did not give me a 50-50 job. He really put in everything that he could, and for that I'm truly grateful for him.
And he still supports. He was actually at the LA Film Festival to see Old Tricks being screened on Saturday.
Yes, he was, because he was sitting about 5 seats away from me. And I was so excited when I saw Joe there, because it not only speaks volumes about him, but it speaks volumes about the two of you, that he would make the time to come and support a future filmmaker film.
And I sort of off topic about Joe, but when I saw him for the first time after not seeing him for a little while, and we met about the film, he looked so built and buff. He does not look like the character in the movie at all. He's so he's so burly, and then when he came on set, the way he just kind of formed his body to look like he was some sort of sick old person, it just it really just shows the strength of his abilities. Seriously, this man is very talented.
Yes.
So what did you learn about yourself, each of you, in the process of making Old Tricks?
Emily, do you want to go first? Okay.
She's really doing this to you, Theo.
How you can spend your free... I learned about how I can just spend my free time and, just not going out to a party over the weekends and, just kind of dedicating yourself to a project can really just make a difference. I never realized... I thought when I was making Old Tricks, I'd just be making a short film that, just was released to colleges and that's it. But little did I know that when we released it online, it got over 70,000 views on Vimeo, and going to all these festivals and meeting all these people and hearing all these words. It showed me how strong people can be, and it really sometimes I feel like I was the character in Old Tricks. I could have appeared to be the old man, I didn't think I was that. But then little did I know that when I applied myself and I put myself out there, I released this thing that was really great, and it really changed my life. It really brought me closer to a lot of people. I feel like it communicated my talents very well to people, and I was really fortunate for that. So I really learned a lot about myself artistically, and just what you can do if you just put yourself to it. And time is so short, so you don't want to waste it. And just taking those, like I said, taking those nights off and just focusing and working, and it really made a difference.
And what about you, Emily?
I think going off of that, actually, just the importance of really loving and nurturing a film and just having true passion for it. Because I've worked on other projects before as an associate producer or things like that, and you make the film's made, and then it kind of sits there. But with this, we worked so hard to distribute it and spread it across the internet, and it was a huge internet success. It was written up by tons of online review sites, and coming to festivals, and just really exposing it as much as we could, and loving the project the same, and going at it with the same passion and persistence even after the post-production had ended. I think I really learned the importance of that during this film.
That's great. Where do you guys want to go to school, Theo?
Well, I'm currently enrolled for USC's School of Cinematic Arts. I'm starting in August.
Well, that's great. Congratulations.
Thank
I'm a
you very
UCLA fan, but I'm a UCLA
I'm going
alumna.
into my second year at Emerson College in Boston, where I'm also studying film production.
That's awesome.
So now,
guys.
do the two of you have any other short films that you're keeping hidden from us?
Well, let's just say we have some. We don't want to hide them from you anymore, but we've been working on some shorts that we really want to. we're just looking for the right time to release it, and I'm all about like the right time and place, because I feel like that's really important in releasing a film. And I just want to say, like, we just want to do things that are different, and we don't want to do the same thing twice. I assure you that the next thing that we do will not be anything like Old Tricks, but that doesn't, it's gonna, hopefully it will be as good.
Mm-hmm. Well, I have to see it when you're ready to have someone see it.
Of course. You'll be the first one we send it to.
The first one.
Oh, I can't wait. Guys, thank you so much. You have just kicked off the Summer of Fun with Future Filmmakers so beautifully today.
Oh, thank you so much. It was such a pleasure talking to you.
Oh, and you guys better stay in touch.
Definitely.
Even from Emerson. Even from USC, Temple girl myself, but I have love for the USC Film School. So you guys take care, and I will talk to you both soon.
We'll talk to you soon. Thank you so much for having us.
You're welcome. Bye.
Nice to meet you.
Bye.
Bye, Em. And that
Very encouraging. Wow, are they well spoken?
And that is the future of film.
Unbelievable. That's awesome.
Now you understand why I'm so passionate about the Future Filmmaker program and the kids.
And you know what? It gives me a little bit of hope because my kids have been brought up in the movies, so you never know. You never know what you can do as an influence, as a parent or whatever. Just letting your kids watch movies.
Well, yeah. I mean, I watched television movies forever. I mean, when I was 4, my dad sat and watched Nosferatu. The Silent with me, everything from Babes in Toyland to Bonnie and Clyde and my mother was the classic film, the Audrey Hepburn, the Clark Gable, the Gone with the Wind, and the MGM musicals.
Yes. Yeah.
And so it was.
And Disney. I grew up on Disney live action films too. Those are some of my faves.
Oh.
But yeah, it's encouraging. I'm very happy to hear that they love it so much. We need more people like that.
We do, and as the summer goes on, we're gonna hear from some more of them. Natalia Ferreira, who it was one of the award-winning, it was special mention film. She got money. Did a film called Sour Lemonade, which is I was telling you about earlier while we were off air, which is fantastic. But then her whole collection of short films that she's done, including her next one, Daggers and Daguerreotypes, she has a sense of humor that I love.
Cutting sense of humor.
Cutting. And then Katie Spear, also an award winner. She's going to Cambodia this summer doing research for a documentary. And when she comes back, she's going to join us and be able to talk to us about what this documentary is going to be, in addition to her award-winning short film, Mask. Which, again, it was done with it's all practical effects, and that's one of the great things with these kids, is it's all practical.
Yep.
But speaking of great, there is a film that you and I, we lava.
We did lava.
We did. We lava, and I was
it was a perfect compliment to Inside Out. Yeah.
So much so, and I had the extreme pleasure. I got to see a DGA presentation last year with the writer-director James Murphy. They took me up to Pixar, so I got to hear him there. And then at the press day, we had an incredible presentation he did. But then I got to sit down for a one-on-one with him to talk about what went into making Lava. And one of the great things is not only the emotion, but how the color, the sound, the music, everything feeds that emotion. And here's what Jim and I talked about. Well, that's one of the beautiful things that you've done with Lava is it's very poignant, it's very evocative emotionally, and it's very emotional. But then you use color. I am so fascinated with the colors that you chose, because they're very specific colors, and as we saw in your presentation today, it's not a Crayola green. It's a very specific Mother Nature green that you're using, How did you go about picking the colors, and how difficult was it to achieve the right blend of them, especially when you get into the beautiful sunsets with your purples and oranges contrasting your greens and your blue waters?
That's a great question. It was... Number one, it was breaking down an emotion of a place. to where we've all been to Hawaii, not all of us, but those of us who have, and we all know what it feels like. As a filmmaker, what we had to do was to dissect that, and what are those ingredients that make up that place that give you that feeling? Because you can't use them all, but if you can understand what they are, you can pick and choose the ones that are necessary to give you that feeling of that place. Then with understanding that place, there's an emotion that comes with all the different colors of that place that we could really use in our story to help the emotion of the story. And then save the sunset till the end. Because that's what we all think of is the couple on the beach as the sun's going down with your love. So you don't go there until you're, because then it's all the contrast of the color. So in the beginning, the color was all about hope and showing this character he's paradise, but he's alone in his own paradise. So he should look like the quintessential paradise, and it should be that. That beautiful sky and that beautiful water and
your lighting is also different in those scenes too.
Yeah, it's a kind of time of day stuff too. So we're kind of like early morning, with the sun coming up. So, and again, you're just setting up for after the time lapse when you come to millions of years later and he's now eroding back into the sea. It's overcast. It's dreary. He's no longer tan like the Waimea Canyon. He's gray, like Diamond Head and some of those eroded craters that you see. Like he's lost his vibrance. And then you go underwater, and then that's a whole thing. And that was kind of evocative of the hula and like stage lighting and really being this elegance of her, but that she's reaching toward the light. So it's very dark and where all that stuff's the only light you get, but she's going toward the light. And then when you get to her above the water, it's much later in the day. So you kind of get that. It's a little bit. It's like pre-sunset. It's like pre. It's that like really warm, lush light, and I just love that. That coloring for that time, and then saving the sunset for the end, and then have the sunset. Like the sun's actually setting throughout that whole long shot, so that when you first come up on them, it's just starting, and you're getting like that purple water.
Yeah.
As you come up, and you're getting a little bit of that purple sky, and the clouds are just a little bit different. And then by the time you come out at the end of the shot, the sun's almost setting. You're starting to get the little shadow of the earth, coming down. So that's you do those color scripts and really plan it out. And probably the most difficult shot to be. I think would surprise you was the dreary, eroded shot with the overcast sky.
But there was also more than just color going on. Don't mind Kit and I. We were just having a discussion here.
Sorry.
Do we want to break the lava love and go to Me and Earl and the Dying Girl? But we're going to stay with lava love here and hear more of what Jim Murphy had to say about the emotional the evocative emotional palette that was going on and how sound and music came into play.
And to make it interesting enough so that it's interesting but drab enough that it emotionally... And the other thing I did is I picked, and I kind of alluded to it with the reference of the places that we picked. I also picked very specific pictures of time of day and color and my lighting lead, Jesse Hollander, was really good at pushing me. Because I clearly knew what I wanted, but it's so much easier to illustrate what you want by an exact photograph that is this time of day. And then you can read into that and kind of take it where you want, but there's a million sunsets photos that we looked at. But I picked a couple that, like this leads into this, leads into this. And then the other thing with the sunset stuff is like the shot with his arm around her at the end, where theoretically, there shouldn't be too much light there, but I kept cheating them to give us enough light so you could really read that, but not too much that you break the believability that the sun's setting on them. And so that was a fun part of color because it can be so emotional, and so evocative, and and if used properly, especially with the music, like it really plays nicely with the feeling of the music and like with the music, I really tried to change the rhythm of the ukulele based on the mood, you know, and which goes in tandem with the color of the sky, you know. So you've like in the beginning it's brighter, and then when it's eroded it's sadder, and then you go underwater it's happier, and so I think all those components play into each other to hopefully, you know, which give you, you know, a feeling that probably most people don't even notice, but they feel it.
And see, there again, it goes, as you said, perfect complement to Inside Out.
Yeah.
Because as everyone heard last week with my interview with Jonas Rivera, and earlier in the year after I'd been to Pixar, what Pete Docter had to say, it's all about how you think emotions are supposed to look, how feelings look.
Right.
So that's what Inside Out incorporates with its geometry light technology, globe illumination, and the color palette that they used, and with Ralph Eggleston's designs. And Jim did the same thing here with Lava.
Yeah.
It's all about
so great.
how you think it should look the way it feels.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
that song. I'm trying to remember.
Oh,
I have to go online and listen to it. I'm sure we can find it somewhere at some point. Yeah.
No, it's out there. I actually got...
very Hawaiian, very...
It is. It was written, and of course, part of the fun, anytime you see Jim Murphy or any presentations, and they may be doing this down at El Capitan, I don't know, but he plays the ukulele.
Oh.
And he wrote and played the song. So I have seen Jim Murphy write, you know, sing and play, and it's just so beautiful.
Yeah, it really is. It's unbelievable.
And of course, that's how you got the name of the two volcanoes. There's Uku and Lele. Ukulele.
Oh,
yeah.
I didn't know the name of the volcanoes.
Now you know.
I know.
Now you know. They have little names, but
Inside Out is just tremendous.
Inside Out is this gets you primed.
Yes.
Lava gets you primed, and
absolutely.
your heartstrings are just in. You're sitting there. Okay, when am I getting out so I can call the travel agent?
Yes.
And then you go right into Inside Out.
Yep, and it's tremendous.
So now I'm playing with my anger ball again today.
I don't have one.
No, because
I have a dinosaur.
You took yours home.
Yeah, I did.
Next week I'll be talking about me and Earl, or save it for a following week when you come back.
Yes.
Talk about, since we were there together for that.
We were, and it's a tremendous movie too. It's unbelievably great.
And Jesse Andrews, who not only wrote the book, the best-selling book, wrote the screenplay as well, and had a lot of really great things to say about writers and being precious with words.
Yep.
Or, as he said, divas.
Yes.
So that is it today. Thank you, my friend, for being here.
Of course. It was lots of fun. Again, those young filmmakers, man, they were great.
Well,
I can't wait.
As the rest of them come on throughout the summer, you'll have to come back.
Absolutely.
So
send me the links.
I'm going to send you the links. So, until next week, show 26. Who knows what's going to happen next week? Behind the Lens, I'm Debbie Lynn Elias, MovieSharkDoubleur.com. Kit Bowen, TheMovieKit.com.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Anytime.